Hi guys, I'm Editor James from Cardi. Today I would like to introduce 2021 Kia Stinger 2.5 model. Kia Stinger has two models, 2.5 and 3.3. I mean, the previous version, it used to be 2.0 and 3.3, but Kia has just put out like new model 2.5 instead of a 2.0. So here we got a chance to drive a 2.5 model. As always, let's go with the front. As you can see, Kia Stinger is sports sedan. So, it's pretty low compared to other four-door sedans. When I look at this grille right here, I wish it was a little bit bigger, so it makes the car more dynamic, right? More like a sports car type, but it's rather small. And the patterns inside is just following the Kia, the family lineup, so nothing really special. It's like what we have seen before. And on the side, we have an air duct. The cold air goes in and then it just cools off all the heat that is produced on the wheels and the brake. It tells you, hey, I am a high performance car, So yes, and even the front bumper, it's very wide and it's very low. Also tells me, hey, I'm a sports sedan. Please don't with me on the street. I'm a fast car, But overall looks good, but like I said, yeah, it would have been much better if the radiator grille was a little bit bigger. Now, I want you to take a look at the headlamp. This is a 2.5 model, and what you see right here is the daylight, right? It's the daylight, but it's not integrated, which means it's not just a one-line daylight. Only 2.5 models has two separate lines, not integrated. As for 3.3 models, I think there's no change. It's the same as the first generation. So that is the front, and looking at the emblem, it says a Stinger. There's some picture right here. I have no idea what it said. It looks like an E, but then according to my co-editor, when he was at the launching show of a Kia Stinger a few years back, they were explaining all this symbolic meanings, but I can't explain. I'm sorry, I don't know. It is a big car and it is very long, and as you can see, it's a fastback type. But you know what, somewhat the design of a Kia Stinger makes me wonder, why does this car look so fat? I was thinking and I was looking at it, maybe it's the big butt that makes the car very humongous. It's a very aerodynamic and it's a fastback designed. So the car, it makes you wonder, is it four-door sedan or it's a sports car? All right, so now let's take a look at the rims and tire and the brake. Well, the rad caliper is very, very attractive. Yes, is the big fat luxury Brembo. I think it's a 4-piston. Yes, it tells you, hey, I am a high performance car. And also the wheel, the rim being 19-inch with many sporks, which looks a lot different from the previous model, but I think it matches really well with the color black. And the tire, Michelin Primacy Tour all-season tire, and the size is 225, 40, 19. Other than that, everything is pretty much the same and plain, but that, in fact, except the fact that this is the fastback type. So as you can see, this is very, big and long, but at the same time, it's not very high. It's low. Now, looking at the back, everything else looks the same. Personally though, I like the front better than the rear because To me, yes, the rear looks very wide and fat, but the lights, it's just so small. If the lights were a little bit bigger, I think it could be more iconic, or perhaps even more visual. 2.5, this is all-wheel drive, and we have a big fat Stinger logo right here. I'm glad that it doesn't have the ugly Kia sign right here. Let me explain. We do have a light right here. I think the previous generation Stinger, when you turn the light on, the light only came on like maybe up to here, just around the edge. But the newer, the facelift Kia Stinger, it is all integrated and it turns on throughout from left to right. Now take a look at the turn signal. You see, it's kind of like a wave. This is like a sequential turn light. But at the same time, if you use it as an emergency light, the lights comes up at the same time. But I guess it doesn't really matter if it's a sequential or not. Maybe just they are adding a little style to it. As for the exhaust tips, Kia said they made a slight change, but yeah, it must be really slight amount. I can't really tell the difference. As for Kia Stinger, we do have a trunk button right underneath it. So simply you can just press the button, it will open it. Voila! Look at this. The space is just humongous. You know, most of before there were sedans, you know, you have to stand and then you have to literally bend your back and then they lift things up, or you know, put things down like this. But this is just fastback, so easy to get things or so easy to put things down in the trunk space. If you see right here, there's a little lever right here, right? If you pull it, you can recline the seat like that. So if you need to carry something long or something big, you need a more space, then simply you can just pull the lever on the side and the seat will tilt completely. So you have extra space to carry things. Again, when you close the door, to close the rear, you can simply just press the button. Convenient, right? Now, I'm sitting in the rear seat. First, I want to show you the leg room, right? This is my seat position, and I almost made identical in size-wise, the seat position-wise. So I want you to take a look at my leg room right here. It's not small at all. It's not uncomfortable at all. I do have a space and I'm not feeling any uncomfortable. However, if you look at it, like I'm just, you know, sitting comfortably right here. But yes, I had it spiked on my hair, but yes, it's touching it. And then if I want to just rest my head on a, you know, headrest, it's not comfortable. And yes, we do have a beautiful Napa leather, lots of you know, the quilting designs. Here is the armrest. We do have a cup holder, and here in the center we do have an air vent. You can control the temperature, and we do have a power outlet, USB, and a speaker jack right here. So this is what we have. Looking at the seats right here, the passenger seat, you can recline it using this button and move back and forth. We do have a Lexicon speaker. I think it is as good as a Krell. And also we do have a heating rear seat, and you can control it from, you know, up to 3 different levels. Now we are sitting in the driver's seat. The first thing that catches your eye is probably the air vent. You know, we do have a 3 air vents right here, and it works really great. However, yeah, just having just too much empty space right here, it's very boring. And I think the previous model, the first generation, I think it looks exactly identical. On the infotainment, it has gotten slightly bigger to 10.25 inches wide. And what we didn't have in the first generation is we do have an ambient light like along the chrome molding right here. But then we have, the Kia has added another line of an ambient light. The steering wheel, the first generation, the D-cut steering wheel was applied only for the 3.3 model, but both 2.5 and 3.3 have a D-cut steering wheel. I want you to take a look at like all here, right here. So we do have like all these metallic buttons. This is for the radio, and here we do have a climate control, air conditioner, air purifier. Simply just putting on an auto, controls everything. And here in the bottom, if you open here, we do have a 12-volt power outlet, as well with a USB port. And here I have placed my phone because it's a wireless, the phone charge that you can charge your phone here. And here we do have a little space to place cups. And one thing I like about the gear right here, so when I actually put my hand on the knob, it feels very comfortable. It doesn't look very sporty, but when it comes to the feeling of touching it, and when I place my hand on top of it, it feels really comfortable. Okay, and this is a parking, side brake, electronic the parking. And here we do have a driver mode. Having such a small buttons right here, why are they making it so small? I mean, you making the gear knob so big, but all of a sudden your driver mode is size of your fingertip. Man, come on, man, this is so small. Just make it a little bit bigger. So this small buttons, I personally wish that these buttons were a little bit bigger, because as for the cooling seat and heating seat, you can just simply move it up and down, moving up and down. But button wise, I wish this was a little bit bigger. Even the driver mode buttons, it would have been so much better if it were a little bit bigger. We do have a small space right here where you can just leave your keys. And the center console, the armrest, under the armrest, we do have another space. It's not very deep, but I guess it's wide enough to store. When you are sitting in the driver's seat and looking at the rear view mirror, the picture you will see through the mirror will be very small and very narrow. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the amount of a view that I can see through the mirror is very narrow. Now I just popped the hood. This is a 2.5 four-cylinder turbocharged engine, right? Again, this is a SmartStream G. But you know what? One thing I want to tell you, that Kia Stinger is a high-performance car. Not that many cars have strobe bars in the engine room. Only if you're driving high performance cars, they are probably equipped with strobe bars. But it's really hard to find any cars that has strobe bars in among Hyundais and Kias. But Kia Stingers, they're always advertising, it is kind of high performance. 300 horsepower. Oh, that's pretty high. As you can see, we do have some space here. The place where engine is located is very, very pushed to the back. So I think the part of the reason why the engine is pushed so back to the rear of the engine room is probably to find the best balance of the car, I personally think. Now I'm on the road on a Kia 2021 Kia Stinger 2.5 liter. I'm very excited about its performance. It's supposed to be 304 horsepower. I want you to take a look at the screen on the cluster. See, I'm using right side of blinker, but nothing on the cluster. It's the screen in the middle shows what's behind it. Since this is gasoline, yes, it's very quiet, and suspension as always, is really good. I think in all those cars these days, they are making really, really excellent suspension. All right, the suspension as usual. The front is McPherson. The rear is the multi-link. Plus, it has electronic controlling suspension system. So the suspension will act according to how you are driving and how the road condition is. Plus, if you are driving in a comfort mode, I guess the suspension is not too tight. But then if you are driving on a sports mode, I think it's going to be a lot stiffer. And the steering wheel D-cut, it's like a first time actually using the D-cut steering wheel as a test driving a car. But yeah, it's not bad at all. Actually, it's pretty comfortable. Let me put this in a sports mode since there are no cars. Let's see what this can do. Here we go. I just quickly pressed the ghetto to see or to feel the taste of a 2.5 Kia Stinger. But first of all, I'm not smiling. I'm not smiling. I'm not saying this car is slow, but it doesn't feel like a 304 horsepower. It's almost, I don't know, acceleration-wise, even though I put this in a sports mode. I mean, first of all, I feel really safe. I felt really safe because suspension was like so firm and hard. And then I didn't, plus the brake, I mean, it works really good. So I didn't feel that, okay, I'm going to crash or anything. I felt really good and I felt really comfortable. But when it comes to acceleration, it didn't feel like 300 horsepower car. Maybe 220 horsepower to be real. This car, I mean, it's a brand new car, 2.5 liter, and supposedly have 304 horsepower plus like 43 kilograms of a torque. But why don't I feel like this is like 300 plus over horsepower? To me, to be realistic, to me it's like maybe barely over 200 horsepower. Maybe it's because this car is heavy. But everything else, the brake, suspension, it works really, really great. I actually feel safe because as you're accelerating, it seems like a car is just getting closer to the ground. Yeah, the suspension is great. Brake, Brembo, it's really great. I was so excited to come in here today, but I am still excited. It's a good car, but I was perhaps expecting a little bit more. But other than that, the suspension, brake, the way I feel about driving, oh, it's excellent. It's excellent. Yeah, it feels kind of heavy at the very first time when I'm actually pressing the gas pedal. It doesn't feel very light. It feels pretty heavy. And I think when I was accelerating, I heard the acceleration, the engine sound, but it's really is the subwoofer. I think it's like an active sound or something. You can hear the sound of an engine accelerating from underneath the driver's seat because there is like a speaker underneath it. Now I'm driving a little uphill road. I guess 304 horsepower is more than enough. I can accelerate, I can drive it comfortably. The road itself is not so straight or smooth as you can see. You can see my head or my shoulder moving up and down. I hear little booms in here and there, but suspension does its job greatly. When I was driving G80, and I remember my hair touching the ceiling. But Kia Stinger, this is also the fastback type. But yeah, I don't think it touches the roof or the ceiling. Maybe it's because the seat position is very low. So people who test drove this car before, prior to my review, right? They said using the launch control 0 to 60 miles per hour came out to be about 6.5 seconds. So considering being like 304 horsepower, I was expecting a bit faster. it's not very responsive. Like if I floor it, it's not like a half second responding, but more like it's a quarter second behind but from like actual process. So when I floor it, like quarter seconds later, it will take off. But other than that, like it's accelerating from like a mid-range speed, like from like 40 miles per hour or 50 miles per hour. And if you want to pass something or whatever, you want to like accelerate faster, that shouldn't be a problem. But I'm strictly talking about like 0 to 60 miles per hour. People will expect like, wow, 300 horsepower is going to be super fast. But forget that, okay? Forget that. But yet, it's not very sporty. But, even though it looks like a very sporty looking sedan, right? But it feels really comfortable with more dynamic performance than regular four-door sedan. That's how I want to put it. Yeah, my co-editor Carter, he had a driven 3.3 liter, of course the previous model, but he said it was just so much fun, right? So we were hoping to get 3.3 liter instead of a 2.5, but because they have adopted a 2.5 liter engine into Kia Stinger for the first time, so all those people who are testing the car gets 2.5 liters. Somebody that I know will probably get 3.3 liter in the future. Or even a person, this guy, actually one of my friends from a car meet, he has a 3.3 liter a Kia Stinger. So maybe next time I'll ask him if I can test drive his car. Today, I got an opportunity to drive a 2021 Kia Stinger Meister 2.5 liter all-wheel drive. This car was definitely fun. Of course, it didn't reach my expectation because my expectation was a little too high. But suspension was great, brake was great, design not so bad. I mean, there are a couple of things that I wish it was a little bit different, but yes, for the price of it, I think this car is almost full option, and in US dollars, it is probably close to, or maybe a little bit more than $40,000. But 3.3 liters is only like $4,000. It costs maybe $4,000 or more. So if I had a choice, to purchase from either 2.5 or 3.3 liter, I would definitely go for 3.3 liter. Like I said, during the whole review, I was keep on mentioning about 300 horsepower, 300 horsepower, 300 horsepower. But when I was driving it, it didn't really feel like a 300 horsepower. I'm not saying this car has no power or it does not do its job. It has enough power to pass, it has enough power to accelerate, but it just didn't meet my personal taste, I guess. Driving Kia Stinger today, I was able to realize that how much Hyundai and Kia has improved their technology to compete with the European premium brands, or perhaps even Japanese brands like Lexus. Lexus is known for top-notch luxury Japanese brand. But when we think about premium cars, we think about like BMWs, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, those three name brands. But Kia and Hyundai, yes, they are definitely getting up there. I mean, we still have a lot more work to do, but believe me, it's getting better and better every day. So please, try your Kia Stinger when you get a chance at your local dealer, and you're gonna like it. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna like it even more if you get a chance to drive a 3.3 liter. Thanks for watching the video. Please write a comment if you have any questions. Hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Hopefully we can come back with a better reviews next time.